Hey YouTube, it's the duct tape mechanic. If you follow my channel, you know I've been doing a lot of washer repair videos lately. But this video is going to be a little bit different in that I'm going to be answering a common question that I get on a lot of my videos, which is, which washer do I recommend somebody buy? So if you find this video to be helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos. Let's cut to the chase immediately. So this is what's called a direct drive washer, and this is what I recommend you buy. Unfortunately, you just can't go into Home Depot and purchase this from them as they are no longer made. They don't look super fancy, but trust me, they will do the job for many years. And these direct drive washers are made by Whirlpool, but they're branded under different names. So a Kenmore 70, 80, or 90 series qualifies under a direct drive washer, as well as some of their other series as well. And most of them are also branded straight up as Kenmore. As Kenmore or Whirlpool, but they're also branded under Amana. And next I'll show you what to look for and what qualifies as a direct drive washer, so you know you're getting the correct one. As I mentioned, you will not be able to find these in the store, so either you have to find one secondhand from Facebook Marketplace or from a trusted secondhand used appliance store. So that's one way to do it. But how to recognize this? Okay, so one of the main tells of a direct drive washer is that this back plate should be all one unit. So if you look here, it doesn't disassemble to the back. You actually have to take the front cover off, but this is all one unit. Another key feature is these self-leveling feet. So if you have it's one unit in the back here and it has self-leveling feet like this, then it's a direct drive washer. And obviously, if you want to get into the technical aspect, what makes it a direct drive, you can also go ahead and tip it on its back, and you'll see that there should be a motor that's connected to a pump. So that's that white we see there, and that's connected directly to a transmission. So if you want to tip it on its back and take a look at it that way, it should be pump, motor, transmission. That's what makes it a direct drive, and that it's directly driven by the motor. The pump and the transmission are directly driven by motor without any sort of belt. So that's how you look for a direct drive washer. And like I said, you won't be able to buy it from the store, so there are a couple of different brandings of these washers, so you do have to look out for which one you want. Alright, so in the next part I'll discuss what makes these washers so great. And the first thing is the simplicity. There's no control board here, so there's no real advanced electronics to get messed up, or some sensors that need to be recalibrated or constantly broken. Instead, everything relies on a timer. So you just set whatever setting you want, and you pull it, and then the washer runs through the cycle. And it just goes in the clockwise manner like so. These timers are super reliable and hardly have any issues, especially if it's a newer style of direct drive. So these were made from the early 90s all the way to about 2010. So if you can get your hands on a newer one, it's better, but even some of the ones from the mid 90s, the timers run great. And in the next section I'll show you another aspect of the simplicity, which is, to briefly touched upon, is the way the motor, transmission, and pump are hooked up. It's really super highly reliable without any sort of belts or actuators or anything like that. So it's purely mechanical strength. So what does direct drive mean? So to demonstrate this, I just pulled this transmission and motor from this washer. This is the transmission I rebuilt. But basically, the motor is directly coupled to the transmission, and then the clutch is on the transmission. So that's what spins the drum. And also, this right here is the agitator shaft. So by coupling it directly to the transmission, there's less moving parts and greater reliability. Just underneath here is a motor coupler, and that's what connects it to the transmission. And these motor couplers do go out once in a while, but maybe like after 10 years or so. So They are very reliable, and these parts just don't break down, and they're really easy to disassemble and work on. That's my favorite part. You can replace almost anything on this washer in 15 to 20 minutes. So yeah, it's a brief look at what it looks like outside of the washer, and this whole unit goes into the washer down here. Not that you need to know any of this, but it just helps get a visualization of why these machines are so reliable. It's because they're really basic and they don't have too much moving parts. And the other side of the motor shaft right here is hooked up to the drain pump. So the motor shaft serves one of the output shafts is connected to the transmission, and the other one is connected to a drain pump. So in the newer style washers, the drain pump is all together another unit outside of the motor, so more problems that can go wrong with that. So here's a really basic drain pump as well. It's just hooked to that shaft. So the second thing that makes these washers so great, excuse me on this one, I just picked this one up, it's a little bit dirty, but that the parts are readily available. So whether you need to repair the agitator, if the dogs in here are broken, or whether it's the motor coupler or something, anything that could have some wear and tear. Lid switch is a common one on here. The parts can be found on Amazon for typically less than 20 bucks, and on top of that they can be put in or installed within, I would say, less than 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes if you're inexperienced. But if you're keen on repairing your own machines, this is a great machine to have, as this whole panel, this whole cover can come off with just 2 clips, and you'll have access to everything you need in terms of repair and maintenance. So not that these require all that much, but if you need to get to it, it is something that will be available to you. Alright, so aside from the simplicity of how these washers are designed and the availability of parts, the third thing that I found that makes these washers so awesome is that they clean your clothes really well. And that's because the way the agitator is set up, it can really get in there and twist and turn the clothes real well, as opposed to a wash plate, which a lot of the newer washers have, and it looks real nice, and a lot of people think that just because there's a wash plate there, they can overload the washer, and that leads to multiple problems. But one of them is that it doesn't clean the clothes as well as an agitator like this would. Yeah, so if you're in the market for a washer, I highly recommend these direct drive washers based on the principles I outlined in this video. And if you can find one for around $200 to $350, I would say that's a good deal. But you will only be able to find these on Marketplace or a used appliance store. And if you're on Marketplace, I do recommend going ahead and tipping it on its back and checking to see if the transmission is leaking, because that is an expensive part that you don't want to pay another $150 or so for. So yeah, if you can get one for that price range, I think you will not regret it, and it's a lot better than the $600 or $700 machines you can find at Home Depot or Lowe's or any other appliance store, just based on all the principles I discussed. And they will clean your clothes well, and they're not too difficult to maintain, and even sometimes just a little bit of cleaning or appliance paint can make these things look like new. So if you find this video helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up sign.